Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the fifth group of phonetic features. We'll present you a presentation. I hope you enjoy, and let's get to the list. So this is my members. For the first member is Ella Nurlailia. For the second member is Novin Salami. The third is me, Sofian Hadi. And the last is Sulaiman Hanafi. In this discussion, we are going to talk about major class feature, minor feature, place feature, and laryngeal feature by the four of us.
Major class features. These four features don't have much in common physically, but they guide the overall type of a phone. Syllabic. Syllabic sounds are those which may function as the nucleus of syllable. I will avoid in-depth discussion of prosody, syllable and stuff for now, but the basic gist is that this sound can be the center of a syllable. By default, only vowels are syllabic and all consonants are not syllabic. However, sometimes certain consonants can become syllabic. In English, we sometimes find the R sound in her and red become syllabic. For example, consider the word fire. Some people pronounce this as single syllable, but I pronounce it as two. Fire, where the in the middle denotes the separation of the syllables, and the leading single quotes precede the stressed syllables. However, when dealing with some languages, such as English, this is often instead transcribed into IPA as fire.
Vocalic. The vowel and glides or semi-vowel are considered with vocalic, and all other sounds are not vocalic. These features exist primarily to distinguish the glides from other consonants due to their similarity to vowel. Glides are essentially just vowels that want to be consonant. Approximants. Approximant phones are superset of the vocalic phones. Approximants applies to all of the approximant, which includes vowel, liquids, and glides. All other sounds are approximants. Sonorant. Sonorant are another superset, this time of the approximant phones. Sonorant additionally include nasal consonant. Specifically, sonorant refer to an in-speech sound which produce a non-turbulent airflow.
Manner features. These features are used to describe how the articulators are used to modify the airflow as it comes out from the lungs. The combination of these four binary manner features produces the 7 manners of articulation in the previous meeting. The first manner is continuant or cant. The phones which are with continuant involve a partial occlusion of the airway, meaning your mouth might be mostly closed or your tongue might be blocking the airflow, or a few other things. Air must flow over a period of time. That is, the airflow is continuous. All vowels, gliders, liquids, and fricatives are with continuant. Stops, affricates, and nasals are without continuants. That are inconclusive for letters, taps, or flaps, or trills. The second manner is lateral or lat. The with lateral sounds are those which involve air flowing around the sides of the tongue instead of over the top of it. The lateral approximants and fricatives are with laterals, and other sounds are without lateral. There are also lethargics with apparently in African language, but these are not detailed in the charts or this page because I am only discussing sounds with a pulmonic aggressive airflow. The third manner is nasal or nice. With nasal sounds allow air to escape through the nasal cavity. Nose. Most sounds are without nasal, but the stops indicated above are all with nasal. The fourth manner is strident or stride. Sounds which are with strident are characterized by high frequency noises. All affricates are with strident and fricative at the flowing places of articulation are also with strident. Labiodental, alveolar, plato-alveolar, retroflex, and uvular. All other sounds are without strident.
Now we talk about place features. There are 11 total place features, including the dependent features. Place feature describe where in the mouth the primary articular is positioned to produce a particular sound. The indentation of certain feature indicates dependent features. A dependent feature such as round can only be given a specification if its parent feature has a positive specification. Then you can read it by yourself. Now we talk about labial. The labial are those which require use of the lips to produce, which correspond to the labial and labiodental place of articulation detailed in the previous pause. Then we talk about plus and minus round, and this also applies to vowels. Because we use our lips to change the shape of our vowels too. But we'll cover that more in the vowel video. The example is w, u, o, u or u, but minus round something like I, E, A, M. So that is. The next feature we have coronal. Coronal sound require articulation of the front part of tongue. It's mean at the tongue blade or tongue tip. Coronal has two dependent features, anterior and distributed. And you can also read it by yourself. Anterior. So essentially anterior means is it in the front. So if it is plus anterior, it's in the front, meaning it's in your alveolar, reach or forward. So some example of plus anterior sounds which we call plus n will be something like s or s, or s. So here we have a dental sound, then we have our alveolar sounds. Then minus anterior sounds would be something like the alveoli little ch or 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 even the sound farther back in the palate. So this will be the palatal stop chim. So that is the minus anterior sound. The next feature we have plus minus distributed, and essentially if it's plus distributed, we pronounce it with blade of our tongue. So if I have my horribly drawn picture of a tongue here, I would like to put the tongue up at the top, so I will put a little ridge here. The tongue, its hip of course in red, is the very tip of the tongue, while the tongue blade will be essentially this part right here. If we really think about the tongue blade, we can really hear it in sound like sh or s, where it's not like tip of the tongue making it the sound. It is the front of the tongue, it's not the tip, it's just behind the tip. Compare that minus distributed sounds, which is the tip like the and the and z and s, and we can feel much more with it being the tip of the tongue. So that is. The next is dorsal. In contrast to coronal, the plus dorsal sounds are thus made by articulating the back half of the tongue. Dorsal has three dependent features: high, low, and back, each referring to the physical positioning of the tongue in the mouth. Then you can read it by yourself. High. The high feature specifies the height of the tongue body in the mouth, where plus high indicates that the tongue body is raised and minus high merely indicates that it is not. Then note that a sound cannot be both plus high and plus low, but it can be minus high and minus low. Then low. Similar to high, the low feature specifies the height of the tongue body in the mouth, where low plus low indicates the tongue is depressed. Note that a sound cannot be both plus low and plus high, but it can be minus low and minus high. That's it. And then the back. In contrast to high and low, the back specification details the horizontal position of the tongue body in the mouth during sound production. Then you can read it by yourself.
And now, pharyngeal of par. Pharyngeal consonants are, of course, plus or with pharyngeal, and vowels can have a pharyngeal specification in languages where there is a tenseness contrast of vowels has one dependent. There is feature ATR. ATR. ATR stands for Advanced Tongue Root. This feature indicates whether the root of the tongue has been moved forward, but what it really provides is a contrast between tense and untense vowel. Plus ATR or with ATR vowels are tense, and without ATR sound are lags. And we come to the last feature, which is laryngeal features. It means this feature has to do with the larynx. is utilized during sound production. For the first is voice or voice. With approximant phones are superset of the vocalic phones. Approximant applies to all the approximants, which includes vowels, liquids, e.g., all, r, and glides, e.g., w, j. All other sounds are without approximant. Then aspirated are phones which are with aspirated have a stronger outward airflow. All voiceless fricative or plus the voids glottal fricative are with aspirated, and other sounds are without aspirated by default. With aspirated is often specified for other phones, though stops can become aspirated. This occurs in English when a voiceless stop is in the onset of a stressed syllable, and vowels can become with aspirated when spoken with breathy voice. And we come to the last, there's glottalis or glow. By default, the implosive consonant third row in this IPA chart and the glottal stop are with glottalis, and all other sounds are without glottalis. The implosive consonants are produced using both pulmonic ingressive and pulmonic aggressive airflows at the same time. Summary. Each unique combination of this feature corresponds to exactly one speech sound. Take a note, however, that not all possible combinations are deemed physically producible. This means that instead of writing out the names of phones and hoping that we remember all of the facts about that phone, we can instead give a feature metric consisting of the necessary specification to identify the sound in question. After this slide, I would like to give an example for the feature metrics. Okay, here we are, the table of feature metrics. In this slide, I would like to explain it to you about the feature metrics of B and P. First, B is a consonant, meaning it has some obstruction in the vocal tract, so it gets a feature consonant indicated with a plus sign. Looking at the next feature is sonorant. Notice that it's indicated with a minus sign, meaning that B is not a sonorant. The feature sonorant of course has to do with sonority. We know that stops have very low sonority because the vocal tract is completely closed for stops, so stops are all coded as sonorant. The next feature is syllabic. Tell us whether a given segment is nucleus of a syllabic or not. Remember that the most common segment that serve as the nucleus of a syllable are vowels, and stop certainly cannot be the nucleus, so B gets labeled as without syllabic or monosyllabic. These first three features, consonant, sonorant, and syllabics, allow us to group all speech segments into the major classes of consonant, vowels, and glides. Well, see how in the next unit, the next set of feature has to do with the manner of articulation. The feature continuum tell us how long a sound goes on. Stop are very short sound. They only last for a brief moment. So B gets a minus sign for continuum. We also know that B is not made by passing air through nasal cavity, so it also get a minus sign for the feature nasal. And B is a voiced sound made with vocal folds and vibrating, so it's with voice or plus voice. The last feature we list for B is labial because it made with the lips. Stay tuned for the next explanation why some features are listed in lowercase and some in uppercase. This is the whole list the feature called a feature matrix. Whole feature matrix and change the value of just one feature. Changing feature voice from plus to minus, now we are describing a different segment of P. So that's the explanation. I hope you guys enjoy and understand our presentation. Thank you so much and thank you.